Well, now to the latest on the disappearance of 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie. Gone 13 days now. The FBI finally able to give a description of the suspect. They are looking for a male, approximately 5'9" to 5'10" tall, with an average build. And according to the agency, the individual can be seen wearing a black 25-liter Ozark Trail hiker backpack.
Yeah, you can see it there on your screen. That seems pretty broad, but hey, it's a start. And the FBI is also now increasing the reward to $100,000 for information leading to the location of Nancy or to the arrest of anyone involved in her disappearance. Savannah Guthrie, her daughter, sharing that home video of her mother yesterday. Nancy, in a new appeal, writing that the family will never give up on her. So for more, let's welcome in former FBI Supervisory Special Agent Jack Jupin. Great to see you this morning. Jack, we have a somewhat clear description now of the suspect: average height, average build. Tough to track down, but the distinctive backpack, it could be recognized by someone who knows this person. What do you make of these new leads? Is it enough to help move the needle in this case?
I definitely think it's enough to get things moving in the right direction. Obviously, that Ozark is a very specific type of backpack. Obviously, I don't even have to say the obvious, that law enforcement is scouring all the communities, stores that sell that exact article, that item that you're looking at right there in the pictures. I believe, though, that, it's going to take a little bit more. Obviously, they're scouring intelligence as far as cameras, LPR, license plate readers, around that community. I think they should expand it to maybe a month before the incident, and including the days thereafter, because as I've mentioned in the past, a lot of times the suspects will show back up in the area because they're curious. They want to see what law enforcement's doing at the crime scene. So that even would be helpful. So I think they need to continue to expand all these leads. Obviously, this takes hundreds and hundreds of man and women hours to try and do this, because they literally need to go to every, sporting goods store,
right,
every, a Target, a Walmart that may sell this backpack. And because this might have been a very recent purchase. Somebody might actually remember that during checkout. We don't know.
So, Jack, also yesterday, the FBI announced an increasing of the reward to $100,000 for information. Now, that doubled the size of the reward. What does that tell you about where the case stands right now? Do you often see an increase in the reward actually lead to an increase in credible leads?
Yeah, I have seen that. And unfortunately, I had to work a kidnapping case. In our case, back in, early 2000s, it ended very successfully, where we were able to get a victim back. Yes, that does affect a lot of things. What I found very and I don't want to say downplay it, but amusing, was the individual who's been calling TMZ wants one Bitcoin. The reward's more than that. Why would you want one Bitcoin? I mean, some things aren't adding up here in this case for me, as I'm looking at it from the investigative point of view. Even the fact that they found gloves so close to a crime scene. Why would you wear them to begin with, just to dump them where law enforcement will be looking? I mean, you could watch a couple of Datelines and figure that out, that law enforcement will scour the scene, the roads in and out. And in this case, of course, what do? They find the gloves. I do hear the different rumblings about law enforcement locally not cooperating with the FBI. I don't know how much.
Yeah.
I don't know how much I'd put into that, because we get along famously with local law enforcement. So I would be shocked if that's really the case.
And it's worth noting that the gloves that was found, again, we want to credit the New York Post for taking that photo right there that everyone has now seen, looking similar to the gloves that the person of interest was wearing in that video. Jack, let's go back to TMZ and these continuous notes that they keep receiving. As an investigator, what do you make of this?
That's a great question, because I've never seen a case done over social media before like this. Another very good point you bring up. Very strange point that they're communicating. The assailant allegedly is communicating through TMZ. During a what I would call a routine typical investigation of a kidnapping is you're dealing directly with the family and law enforcement. You know, they know law enforcement's involved. Nobody's tricking anybody here. Nobody's hiding it. Of course, law enforcement's involved. But for them to kind of like go around the corner on this one and go through social media, that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Because if they're really serious, if they really have her, then go right to the family. The family has done a great job, I believe, in this matter of pleading, begging for help, showing the family videos, showing the family pictures. I think that's been fantastic. Smart move. You want to put humanity into this, right? You want to. It's a real person you're dealing with. This is somebody's mother,
Right?
And we have had a mother or a father in our lives, and that's a big thing. And the fact that somebody's kind of, I like to say, playing games here. If you really were serious, you'd be asking for $20 million, and you'd be asking for it now. And here's how you're going to do it. But I think we're getting sidetracked with a lot of little sub stories here on this map.
Yeah, there's so much to unpack here. All right, Jack Jupin, thank you so much for your expertise this morning. Appreciate it.
Have a good night.